Wow, what a view.
To a kill.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Roll Screen Team. I'm Andrew Thomas. I'm here with fellow James Bondathon, Christopher Johnson.
Hello everyone.
And we finally made it.
Yep. The end of the Roger Moore era. And this one, I have very conflicting thoughts about.
Yeah. So, want to get to the overview?
Sure.
A View to a Kill.
A View to a Kill is a 1985 spy film named after the 1960 short story From a View to a Kill, written by Ian Fleming. The film is the 14th film in the James Bond franchise, produced by Eon Productions. The film was produced by Albert R. Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson and directed by John Glenn. The film was written by Richard Maibaum and Michael G. Wilson. A View to a Kill is the 7th and final film to star Roger Moore as James Bond, alongside Tanya Roberts, Christopher Walken, Grace Jones, my apologies, and Patrick Macnee. This would also be the final appearance of Lois Maxwell as Miss Moneypenny, as Lois Maxwell was starting to wind her career down. And the synopsis. After recovering a microchip from the body of a deceased colleague in Russia, British secret agent James Bond discovers that the technology has the potential for sinister applications. Investigating further, Bond is led to Max Zorin, the head of Zorin Industries. Soon, Bond faces off against the villainous Zorin and his tough Amazonian bodyguard Mayday, who are scheming to destroy California's Silicon Valley and eliminate the competition.
Yeah, but it's California. Nothing.
This is essentially Goldfinger, but instead of gold, microchips.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty much what this film is.
Yeah.
Max Zorin is essentially a much more... he's pretty much Goldfinger, but in his own unique way.
Yeah, but Roger Moore gets bug-eyed.
Oh, God. Yeah, this is the period of time where somehow, some way, Roger Moore's age really started to show. He truly was old man Bond at this point.
Yeah.
Because they were doing various things to try to make him look younger. I mean, he removed his mole. I think he got a bit of a facelift. And they were trying to make his hair look, thicker, despite the fact that his hair was starting to recede. Yeah, it was pretty obvious. And on top of the fact that he wasn't able to do a lot of the physical work that he had been doing in all his previous films. Like, most of the action is some sort of stuntman. I mean, even him doing, like, jogging, you can tell he's having a little bit of struggle with. This was rough. I really do think at this point they should have gotten someone else. As a matter of fact, during Octopussy, they were actually planning on replacing Roger Moore. They were going to get James Brolin. Yeah, the father of Josh Brolin. But that was during the time where Never Say Never Again was coming out. They were like, oh, non-Eon production Bond film starring Sean Connery, we better keep Roger Moore.
Yeah.
And Octopussy was a bigger success.
Yeah.
Now, with this film, there was some discussion on possibly bringing Sam Neill in, or if things had gone through, maybe even possibly Pierce Brosnan, but Pierce Brosnan was still working on Remington Steele, and they just decided to keep Roger Moore for one more film. If things had worked differently, I definitely think this would have been a perfect film for Timothy Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Go to alternate reality where Timothy Dalton
Actually gets 3 films?
yeah.
I think that, this film definitely would have worked for Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
But
Especially when he gets up with younger women.
Yeah. Though, I mean, I don't want to completely say that Roger Moore wasn't good. Mm-hmm. I mean, when it comes to his acting, he was definitely fantastic. It's just, we all know when it comes to any of the action scenes, it's not him.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, any of your thoughts?
It was just those bug eyes that drove me nuts.
You couldn't get past the facelift.
No.
Oh, God. Plus, some people acknowledge that some of the other films Roger Moore did a couple years after this, he looked more like himself than he did in this. I guess the facelift had calmed down a bit. Mm-hmm. But with talking about Bond, we talk about the Bond girls. Mm-hmm. Starting with the main Bond girl, Stacey Sutton, played by Tanya Roberts.
Yeah, she was hot.
May she rest in peace.
Yeah.
We miss you, Midge.
Yeah.
I mean, I mainly know her as, Midge from that 70s show.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Midge Pinciotti.
Yeah.
But I did like Stacey, despite the fact that a good chunk of her screen presence is screaming and wailing.
Yep. She's usually kept as, like, the prize to the main Bond villain. Sort of.
Well, yeah, she ends up becoming a damsel in distress, despite the fact she showed she had some spunk.
Yeah.
I mean, she was willing to be in fights. Mm-hmm. It's just... How does a person get snuck up on by a blimp? Mm-hmm. How did you not notice this blimp was coming up behind you and got close enough to you that that Zorn was able to grab you and bring you into the blimp? Mm-hmm. How? It's a blimp. Mm-hmm. Those things aren't necessarily made to be discreet. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, with what... She was okay. Yeah. Despite the yelling too much and not being able to outrun a blimp. Mm-hmm. But the other Bond girl, quite possibly the most iconic, Mayday, played by Grace Jones. Oh, Lord have mercy. See, now I have some history with Grace Jones from some of her other acting. But for the most part, I really enjoyed her in this.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that we had to have the image of her having sex with Roger Moore.
And Walken.
Oh yeah, and her actually having a relationship with Christopher Walken. I don't know which one is more disturbing, to tell you the truth. No offense to Christopher Walken, but her hooking up with old man Roger Moore and me having this feeling that he was having. Play this clip.
I had snoo.
Yeah, it was feeling some, definitely felt like some snoo. Yeah. It was weird. I mean, your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, that was with mainly this whole entire film. With Roger Moore and the ladies.
That's weird. But I mean, your main thoughts on what you think of Mayday?
Yeah, she was good. She also did get a heel turn at the end.
Well, face turn
at the end when she realizes that her lover betrayed her and was going to let her blow up.
Yeah. Thus led to a heroic sacrifice.
Yeah.
But I really like Mayday, and the fact that she did end up, foiling Zoran's plan as kind of a one last FU to him, for betraying her and everyone else that was working for him.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the Bond villain himself, since we keep mentioning it.
Well, yeah. Max Zorin played fantastically well by Christopher Walken.
Hello again, Christopher Walken.
Ah, yes.
Since the Batman Returns review.
Hey, we have a number of recurring actors this year.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy Christopher Walken in this. It's fantastic that he got the opportunity to be a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he unfortunately gets a recycled plot from a much better film.
Yeah.
But with what he got to work with, he was fantastic.
Yeah. Especially of how he killed off all the people who were working for him.
Yeah, I think he's the villain with quite possibly the biggest body count. Mm-hmm. I mean, good Lord, how many of those mine workers did he mow down?
So many.
And he was ruthless about it. He just saw it as la-di-da.
Yeah. We're going to blow up the cape, but we're in it. I know.
I know. Oh man, he was cold-blooded, but at the same time he was kind of suave about things, and we finally got to have a really nice villain fight between Bond and the main villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just so happens that we have
mainly Roger Moore's stunt double and Christopher Walken.
True. Very true. It is Roger Moore's stunt double with Christopher Walken with a fireman's axe coming out of a blimp on top of the Golden Gate Bridge. Mm-hmm. That is insane, and I love it. Christopher Walken was pretty much one of the best things about this film. Him and Grace Jones, for real. They were the best parts of this film. I mean, any additional thoughts?
No, we've said enough.
Okay. Well, I guess we get into the MI6 team. Well, of course, once again, Robert Brown is M. Mm-hmm. He's getting more into the swing of things as M. Mm-hmm. Feels a lot more natural. Nice to see, Lois Maxwell one last time as Miss Moneypenny. Yeah. And they do kind of acknowledge how, things have kind of changed. Yeah. Maybe she's kind of looking at herself that maybe she's not. Well, I guess the last couple films, she's starting to think that maybe she's not as desirable to to Bond as it used to be, but no, he still cares about her. You know, it's just not that overly flirtatious thing that she went through with, you know, Sean Connery and George Lazenby. But you know, it is nice to see her at least being with the whole gang when they're doing their whole spy work. You know, seeing her have a little bit extra to do. Of course, Desmond Llewellyn is fantastic as Q once again. And, of course, the Q gadget this time are, unfortunately, these X-ray glasses that I'm not really that impressed with. Yeah, these sunglasses that have an X-ray function. Could have been better. But at least we got a Q gadget. And of course, we got to see more Jeffrey Keane as Frederick Gray. Really cool to see him. And Patrick Magny as Sir Godfrey Tibbett.
Another Avenger. Since Anna Riggs was in Our Majesty's Secret Service.
Well, and don't forget Honor Blackman from Goldfinger. She was an Avenger too. So it's really cool to see that happen. And plus, I do have to acknowledge the Bond and Tibbett show. You know, them working undercover, of Tibbett being, you know, the chauffeur and butler to Bond, and just their hilarious kind of rapport of Bond being a snooty businessman and Tibbett being kind of a bumbling servant to him. Hilarious.
Yeah, but he gets killed off.
Yeah, one of the various people that gets killed off by Mayday. Don't mess with Mayday. Oh no. She will choke you out, or she'll make you fall out of a blimp. With one of the most unconvincing falling dummies I've ever seen in film. But before we go into other things, I do want to acknowledge a couple of additional Bond girls. Alison Doody as Jenny Flex. She's the blonde English girl that introduces Bond into Zoran's home. And Papillon Susu as Pan Ho. Now, an interesting little thing to know about Papillon Susu. If by any chance you all have seen the film Full Metal Jacket, or have ever heard the song Me So Horny by the Two Live Crew, you know this woman very well. Because...
Me so horny.
Yeah, she's the streetwalker from Full Metal Jacket. The woman that uttered one of the most famous lines ever that ended up turning into a very famous but also very raunchy rap song. It's really cool how we end up seeing a lot of actors show up when we least expect it. But with what little they were able to do, I did like Jenny and Pan. It's just unfortunate that they also ended up becoming casualties. Sacrificial lambs. Really messed up. Soren, what the heck, man? What the heck? Oh, we also have some additional cameos. Well, once again, Walter Gotell is General Gogol, because why didn't the KGB just work with Bond on this? They were trying to stop Zorn too. Why didn't they just work with Bond in MI6?
I don't know.
I swear. Fiona Fullerton as Paula Ivanova. I think it has been discussed that initially they were going to try to get Barbara back to come back as Anya for that. And I think that would have been very cool, but I think scheduling conflicts and other things ended up causing that idea to fall through, so they had to go with a different Russian agent. I would have loved to have seen Barbara Bach come back and, you know, see her and Roger Moore have one more little interaction, you know, before, you know, his time as Bond ended. And also, there is one other additional cameo that I think is really cool. We get to see Dolph Lundgren as a KGB agent with General Gogol. You know, he goes by the name Venz. The reason why we get to see Dolph Lundgren was because during that time he was dating Grace Jones. So you have this black Amazonian woman with this giant German man who's playing a Russian, who apparently is fantastic at playing a Russian. It's really cool. It's really cool. And plus, around this time, he was playing Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. Hey, everything was coming up Dolph Lundgren during this time. But, I guess we've
done about everything.
Oh, one more thing. Quite possibly the best thing about this whole film is the theme song. A View to a Kill by Duran Duran. I love this theme. It is my number one favorite theme. I mean, meeting you with a view to a kill. A sacred wine, a mystery gaping inside. A wicked wine until we dance into the fire. A fatal kiss is all we need. Dance into the fire. Yes, I love it. I love it. I mean,
yeah, I really love that song.
Fantastic. Especially since the last few films have been a lot more ballad-y.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of cool to have a much more up-tempo song again.
Yeah.
But I guess we go into the scores.
I give this a 6 out of 10. Mainly because of those bug eyes. And him getting after women half his age. More than half his age. Along with the only highlights were mainly Tanya Roberts, Christopher Walken, and Grace Jones. Everyone else is just there.
Yeah.
And you?
As much as I want to give it a 5.5, I am going to go ahead and give it a 6, just because I want to give proper respect to Christopher Walken, Grace Jones, and Patrick Magny. They were fantastic. Tanya Roberts was great with what she was given. You know, I mean, it's still a fun film. It's definitely entertaining. Love the villain fight at the climax. But yeah, it's just, this was not the right film for Roger Moore.
Yeah.
This should have been given to someone else. You know, whether it had been a completely different actor in the timeline like James Brolin or Sam Neill, or if they had already decided on Timothy Dalton and given this to Timothy Dalton.
But if you disagree, go find us on Facebook, The Real Screen Team. Where else?
You can find us on Instagram, Reddit, and TikTok.
And definitely find us on YouTube, and make sure to like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do appreciate the views, but you should also subscribe to kind of help us out.
Yeah, we're finally starting to get more interest in the algorithm, and you know, we're trying to bump up our subscribers. You know, it could really help if you all, you know, give us a subscribe or share our work with a lot of other people. You know,
But before we go, we're going to be doing a conclusion video for this.
yes,
And ranking our top Roger Moore James Bond movies, all 7.
Yep, and also acknowledging, you know, some of our favorite characters and things that happen.
Yep, but want to roll us out?
Well, okay. Well, thank you all for watching. Definitely come back and watch us again. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It definitely helps. Well, cut, print, that's a wrap.